Big update. Liv Morgan's possible WWE return despite injury. Liv Morgan has been out of action since suffering a dislocated shoulder on the June 16th edition of Monday Night Raw, an injury that required surgery shortly after it occurred. Her absence from WWE programming has been noticeable, especially given the momentum she had built before the setback. While she continues to recover, there has been speculation about whether she could appear on television in some capacity, even though she has not been cleared to compete. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful recently addressed this topic during a Q&A session, providing insight into WWE's stance on using injured talent in on-screen roles and explaining why the company may prefer to wait until a performer is completely healthy before reintroducing them. Sapp explained that while WWE could technically bring Morgan back in a non-wrestling role, the company has historically avoided doing so in similar situations. There are multiple reasons for this approach, with one of the biggest being the company's strategy of saving a star's return for the moment they are fully cleared to wrestle. WWE has always prioritized creating memorable moments that generate excitement and fan engagement, and a surprise return often provides a significant boost to both the performer and the show's overall energy. By waiting until Morgan is physically able to step back into the ring, the company ensures her comeback will have maximum impact, rather than a gradual reintroduction that could lessen the excitement. Another major factor that Sapp highlighted involves WWE contracts. In most cases, unless there is a special arrangement negotiated between the company and performer, a wrestler's contract is frozen while they are out of action due to injury. This means that WWE can extend the contract by the exact amount of time the performer was sidelined, ensuring that the company retains the talent for full length of the original deal. If WWE chooses to use an injured star in an on-screen capacity, however, that contractual freeze is lifted and the clock continues to run on the deal. As a result, WWE loses the ability to extend the contract for the time the performer was out, which is often seen as a disadvantage to the company. This policy has been in place for many years and has influenced how WWE manages talent during extended recovery periods. Sapp further explained that there have been instances in the past where performers were kept on television despite being injured, and in those cases, their contracts were not frozen. This created a precedent that WWE is cautious about repeating, as it allows a performer's deal to run its course even while they are unable to wrestle. This consideration is particularly important for wrestlers who may be nearing the end of their contracts, as it affects negotiations and future planning. For a popular and marketable star like Liv Morgan, WWE's priority appears to be ensuring they have full control over the timing of her return and the length of her contract. This cautious approach makes sense when considering Morgan's trajectory over the past few years. She has steadily built herself into one of WWE's most popular female performers, earning a dedicated fan base and capturing major titles, including the SmackDown Women's Championship. Her rise in popularity was a result of consistent storytelling, improved in-ring performance, and a strong connection with the audience. WWE has invested significant time and effort into making Morgan a star, so it is understandable that they would want to handle her return carefully. Bringing her back before she is ready could diminish the moment's impact and potentially affect her long-term value to the company. Reports have suggested that WWE is targeting early 2026 for Morgan's full-time return, assuming her recovery continues without setbacks. This timeline reflects the seriousness of her injury and the careful planning involved in managing her comeback. While fans may be eager to see her back on television in any capacity, WWE's decision to wait underscores her commitment to making her return a major event. This strategy has been used effectively in the past for other performers, with surprise returns often generating significant buzz and driving ratings. The anticipation surrounding Morgan's comeback could also create new opportunities for storylines and rivalries, further cementing her status as a top star. From a business perspective, WWE's contract policies also play a role in this decision-making process. By freezing contracts during injury periods, the company ensures that it gets the full value of a performer's deal, even if they are unable to compete for an extended time. This system allows WWE to plan long-term storylines and maintain stability in its roster. In Morgan's case, keeping her off television ensures that the company retains flexibility regarding her future, while also preserving her mystique for a high-profile return. The risk of letting the contract clock run while she is sidelined could limit WWE's ability to capitalize on her star power when she eventually comes back. There's also the consideration of how an on-screen role would fit into current WWE programming. Morgan's character and storylines have always been closely tied to her in-ring work, and creating a meaningful role for her outside of wrestling could be challenging. While some injured stars have taken on commentary roles, managerial positions, or other creative angles, not every performer benefits from this type of booking. In Morgan's case, WWE may feel that her best use is as an active competitor, and keeping her off television until she is ready aligns with that vision. It also prevents her from being overexposed or placed in a storyline that doesn't match the hype surrounding her eventual return. Fans have often debated whether WWE should feature injured performers in non-wrestling roles to maintain their visibility, and there are arguments to be made for both sides. On one hand, having Morgan appear on television would keep her connected to her fan base and allow her to remain relevant during her recovery. This could potentially create opportunities for character development or new alliances, keeping her in the spotlight even while she heals. On the other hand, WWE's strategy of saving injured stars for a big comeback has historically been successful, as it creates an air of unpredictability and excitement when they finally reappear. For Morgan, whose career trajectory has been defined by underdog narratives and surprise victories, a dramatic return could be exactly what she needs to reestablish herself as a major player in the women's division. The company has already positioned her as a fan favorite, and the time away from television could only add to the anticipation surrounding her comeback. By keeping her absence prolonged and mysterious, WWE is building intrigue and ensuring that when she finally steps back into the ring, the reaction will be electric. Ultimately, WWE's decision to hold off on bringing Morgan back as an on-screen character reflects a larger philosophy about how the company manages talent and storytelling. Injuries are an inevitable part of professional wrestling, but WWE has learned to use these situations strategically. In Morgan's case, they are protecting both her value and their investment by carefully timing her return. This approach demonstrates an understanding of the importance of star power and how to maximize it in a competitive entertainment landscape. The reaction will be electric. Ultimately, WWE's decision to hold off on bringing Morgan back as an on-screen character reflects a larger philosophy about how the company manages talent and storytelling. Injuries are an inevitable part of professional wrestling, but WWE has learned to use these situations strategically. In Morgan's case, they are protecting both her value and their investment by carefully timing her return. This approach demonstrates an understanding of the importance of star power and how to maximize it in a competitive entertainment landscape.